Welcome everybody to this ENVRI-Hub NEXT organized webinar. I'm Federico Drago from the EGI Foundation, and I am the communications manager of this project. I am welcoming you here together with our partners in the panelist list that you can see. So this is the program we have for today. I will only take a couple of minutes from your time before we start. So my colleague Marta Gutierrez from the EGI Foundation will give an introduction of the ENVRI-Hub NEXT project. Then our technical coordinator Ulrich Bundke from Jülich, Forschungszentrum Jülich, will give a presentation about the new ENVRI Hub that we have developed in ENVRI Hub Next. Then Alessandro Turco from EPOS ERIC will give us a bit of an introduction about one of the components of the hub, so the catalog of services. And then we're going with Zhao from the University of Amsterdam and his colleague Nafis Islam for an introduction of the knowledge base. Then we will have time to pick your questions in the Q&A box, and they will be addressed during the final 20 minutes of this meeting. And as you have seen, the webinar is being recorded and it will be made available via the ENVRI Community YouTube channel. So before we start, I really wanted to invite everybody to join the ENVRI community at the upcoming EGU 26 in Vienna. So if you are coming, please remember that we have a co-convened session as ENVRI Hub Next on Thursday, the one on co-creating climate services. Then we also have a short course about the ENVRI Hub on the same morning. And of course, we will be part of the ENVRI community joint booth number 27. You will find more information about all the many activities that the ENVRI community is jointly doing at EGU on the website. So without further ado, I will not take more of your time. Please, Marta, I will stop sharing and you can go with your presentation.
And let me go in full screen. Can you see that properly? Good morning, everybody. Thanks for attending this webinar. My name is Marta Gutierrez. I'm the project coordinator. I work for the EGI Foundation together with Ulrich Bundke. We're going to present, we're going to give you a brief introduction to what is happening in this project. In there, you can see a few of our key contributors to the project, but there is indeed a whole crowd of people contributing beyond this, and it's an absolute wonderful to be coordinating this project. I believe that we are working very nicely and we are achieving some important milestone for this community. So let me introduce you to the ENVRI community. It's a wonderful group of 27 research infrastructures, large research infrastructures across the Europe, defined at the European level. Plenty of them are defined within the ERIC framework. They provide access across 4 environmental domains. These are the life, water, and land domain. The types of data sets that they collect, they come from in situ observations. They have plenty of observing stations and instrumentation at different type of labs. And all these different data, they come into, when they come into the byte representation, they come into different types of data types representations that may include like point data, they may include trajectories coming from commercial airlines, and they may come from field observations or from vertical profiles coming from different types of lidars that they shoot up in the atmosphere, or from radio zones. So all of these different types of data types that are whole at each individual research infrastructures, they come with different types of data representations, different types of data access, and different types of cataloging systems. So why this community came together is we need an overarching approach for researchers and scientists to achieve interdisciplinary domain, because we know that what it happens in the land affects to what happens in the ocean and in the atmosphere. They are intrinsically related, all these domains. So in order to bring this overarching system, this community came together in order to bring and provide harmonization at all of these levels. So this community then has not come together in this project. They've been working together for the last 14 years across a number of different type of European projects, each one of them delivering like a very significant outcomes from the establishment of the community itself to the definition of a reference model that allowed all of them to work together to the establishment of the FAIR principles and FAIR metrics. Now we are working together in the ENVRI-Hub NEXT. We are defining the system, what we call ENVRI-Hub, through a well-defined set of services. And this project started in 2024, and it will we will finish next year in 2027, in January 2027. So what's the goal? As I said, in order to allow these interdisciplinary sciences to come together across all of these domains, we're going to deliver a robust and conceptual technical framework. And this framework will identify a set of services in order to support climate change research. This include mitigation and adaptation measurements and the assessment of climate risks. And in order to do that, we were going to take all of these services. We're going to allow and facilitate the integration of environmental sciences as well, contributing to the European Open Science Cloud. We chose to be guided by our science drivers, the identification of essential climate variables, which I will introduce in the next slides. So all in all, to summarize all of these general objectives, we decompose this in 4 individual objectives. And number 1 is to work heavily on data and services interoperability through this science cluster. Objective number 2 is to work specifically on our science drivers, which we identified as essential climate variables, including global climate indicators. The objective number 3 is to deliver an online operational platform, and objective number 4 is to work towards the EOSC integration. So, of course, as all the European projects, we do have our policy objectives. Every project, and this is the contribution of how we collaborate, how we contribute to the individual policies, European policies, which are here in this blue sphere. This includes the European research area, which is the contribution to the outcomes of the research and innovation strategies. Part of this strategy includes the EOSC itself, which is our contributions to open science and FAIR principles, and indeed the research infrastructures. Most of the data that we make available and the services are available to all the research community in an open science manner. Plenty of the data, this includes as well the contributions that plenty of the data can apply to the objectives and of the European Green Deal, which is a very big strategic action within the European framework. And of course, we do observe what is happening in the latest draft of the Data Union strategy, and our contributions of how can potentially we can engage with European data spaces or with the AI factories or data labs. We need to observe all these new institutional constructs that are coming out and emerging of all of these strategic policy activities. We do observe, of course, as well what happens at the world level and with the corresponding worldwide policies. So in order to, we did not bring the whole of the ENVRI community into the project. We brought right representatives in each one of the domains, of the environmental domains, with some of them with IAGOS and actors in the atmospheric, in the atmosphere domain. We do have Argo and Sea DataNet in the marine, in the ecosystems and biodiversity. We have LifeWatch, Alter, and ANAI, and EPOS in the solid earth. In order to support the research infrastructures, we brought some e-infrastructures and technical partners to support the technical activities. So we established a very nice matrix of domain versus technical infrastructures, and that's where we came as EGI Foundation, as an infrastructure to support with technical services. And so we brought some of our partners together with University of Amsterdam and the ENVRI and the Finnish Meteorological Institute as our EOSCARE relationship manager. So just to give you a little bit of a focus of our science drivers, we did concentrate on these essential climate variables. What are they? These are critical variables for our understanding and monitoring of the Earth climate system. It can be a variable or a set of variables. And the governance of all these variables is defined by the Global Climate Observing System. They define a set of formalized variables and products that contribute to this type of variables. So we are doing a complex mapping that is going on how the research infrastructures contribute to this type of products. In some of the cases, it will be a one-to-one mapping. So there is a one-to-one mapping between this variable and the observed property at the research infrastructure. In some of the cases, it is much more complex than that, and there may be on the order of 400 variables that can contribute to one of these high-level constructs as defined by GCOS. So that's what we're working. We're trying to work on harmonization and interoperability across all of these variables. And one variable may be served by several research infrastructures. So we are trying to harmonize the access so this is transparent to the end research user. So with that, I am gonna pass now the baton to Uli, to our technical coordinator. Uli, go ahead and explain what's happening.
Yeah, thanks, Marta. Yeah, welcome everybody. You are witnessing a major milestone of this project. Most of our development is hidden behind the scenes. And so what we are celebrating today is the launch of the productive system, which means that all the developments we have are now deployed on a productive system, which means that this is scalable for hundreds of accesses per second, if we wish. We hope that we'll get so many accesses from the load. You can see it here, ENVRI-Hub.envri.eu, without any staging or probe or whatever. It's the one we want to go for production. And you can see here the landing page, which is quite not so overcrowded, but showing the main parts we want to serve to the community, and we want to serve for our research infrastructures. So ENVRI means environmental research infrastructures. This is what Marta already told you. The research infrastructures are measuring things in the environmental domain, and so this community has formed, and we have set up our system like this, that we want to serve the research infrastructures on the one hand, guiding them to the public, showing and enhancing them in the interoperability, so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel again, but also to serve to the community, to scientists, to get access in an easy way to our system. And you can see on the right-hand side, one of the most important part, it's called login. We want to have a single sign-on system. So you don't have to register at 21 partners, no, just one, to make things easy. Maybe Marta, you can go one step ahead. So this is a structure we are organized. We have 4 major pillars. We have the catalog, the knowledge base, the analytical framework, and the training. The knowledge base is directed in both sides. One side to the users and to the research infrastructures. We host here the information how to get fair data, produce fair data, and for the users, how to access them. How you can access them, you can find them. And for this finding, we have a catalog of data. And we have a search engine, which is hosted in the knowledge base. So both sides are bringing things together. To get access to the individual data of the different research infrastructures, we have the analytical framework, where we have set up a virtual research environment, an easy-to-use library to get direct access, fostering the data from the knowledge from the catalog of data, or from the catalog of services. So that you can find the data out of your virtual research environment or your Python program or whatever you want to use. On the other hand, nothing is worse if you don't know how to use it. And for this, we have the first pillar, which is the training. We have the training portal supported by LifeWatch, where we have the experts to give you the training courses, and we will have one at the EGU. So this is I want to welcome all of you at the EGU during this training event. So, but without a foundation, this is not possible. The foundations are the research infrastructures. You can see they at the very bottom. Here, the data are produced. Here, the data are curated. Here, the data are operated in that way that you can find them, that will have vocabularies in place, that individual naming is in that way that you can identify it directly from the vocabulary. You don't have to think about what the research infrastructure might think about. Especially because we are on a very broadband environment. So environmental science, they combine physics, people, biologists, with LifeWatch, for example, also biodiversity. So the vocabulary we are using is quite different. So we have to find a way how to communicate it in a way that everything is well understood and programmatic actionable, so machine-to-machine actionable. And for this, we have different enabling service to make this access to this data from the research infrastructures possible. This is a layer, the gluing layer in between. But it's not only the research infrastructures we are depending on. It's also the part of the e-infrastructures, which provide us with the facilities which enables us to host these data for a huge community. And with EGI, we have a partner very experienced in hosting big data and also experienced in the way how the interoperability is landscape looks like, especially with the ERC, the European Open Science Cloud. Without this partner, nothing would happen. So these are the foundations, the e-infrastructure and also the research infrastructure. The gluing part in between, you can see here in the middle is the AAI, which is the login part, so that you can have single sign-on facilities. We have to give you a legal framework, which means you as a user, you are allowed to use our data, but you have to have a license for this, and we have to provide it. And this is a legal framework we are also tackling here in this gluing layer. Also, the metadata, I already mentioned it here. You have to find things, and we have to describe our services and also our data. This is done with using the metadata. And that we are talking the same language, then we have the vocabulary in place that you can directly see what we are meaning with one particular measurement variable, for example. Next slide, please. So just a quick rush. I don't want to go here into detail because, for example, the catalog of service, Alessandro Turco will demonstrate how this is working. So how you can get directly access and find things out of the box, out of the catalog of services. The next one. The ENVRI demo FDP we'll have here, FDP stands for Fair Data Points, is a structure how we can expose metadata on variables. And this is needed for the catalog of service and to find things. And this is a way we are storing the metadata so you can directly access and in a very easy way. On the other hand, for research infrastructures, it's a homogeneous way to expose and curate metadata. So this is the tool we are using to curate the data in a fair manner. Next slide, please. So people want to have access. And for this, we have the virtual research environment, VRE. And we have, for example, some proof of concept notebooks in place so that you can test in an easy way how to access our data, modify these notebooks, or use directly the underlying library we are providing to you and curate. Next slide, please. Yeah. Modern terms are also here with us. So as we wrote the project proposal, artificial intelligence was not really on the horizon. It was not really operational. Now it is. And we have moved our target to also incorporate these LLMs, large language modules, to help ourselves and also our users to get information. For example, you can ask the LLM to write a program using our library to get the sea surface temperature of the Atlantic Ocean. And you will get an answer, and a program will be written for you. You have to test it, that's for sure. It's always LLMs are declaring, oh, you have to check whatever I want to say, whatever I say to you. But it is in place and it works. And this is a nice thing. And Nafis will demonstrate how this nice tool is operational now. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is an environmental expert where you can directly get it out of it. The search engine I just forgot to mention in the last slide is that all the knowledge we have collected for you, you can directly access via a single, like a Google search, I would say. But the environmental expert is always helping you. So we have a client in the button where this experimental expert is always present. And you get in first place, like in Google, the answer of the AI part to your search. Next slide, please. Yeah, thanks. And now we are diving in. Let's get a dive into the catalog of service. I think this is the next in place. If you have questions, I am here. Yeah, Alessandro.
I hear no questions, so I think I can start. So
the floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Alessandro Turco from EPOS ERIC. And I'm presenting the catalog of services for the ENVRI-Hub that has been developed based on the EPOS open source platform. So let me give me a couple of minutes to introduce things that probably Marta and Ulrich already had said, but it's important to let you understand how the catalog of services work. So, okay, you have heard what is the challenge of the ENVRI-Hub. So putting together data and services from environmental research infrastructure to allow scientists to do cross-discipline on research on climate and in general, environmental science. So our vision is to harnessing the power of data. We are focusing on the essential climate variable, and we want to integrate data and services of different arise. And the key elements for this are a unified access, interoperability, the focus on the essential variables, open data and transparent policies, and the fact that our system is cloud-based. All those elements are part of the catalog of services. So I don't. If you wanted technical, some technical details, you can ask at the end, or you can go on our website or on the EPOS open source platform website, and you will find everything. What's important now is that we are following these concepts. So Arise expose their data through web services, and what we have is a catalog of those services that are described with the standard metadata schema that is an extension of DKTP provided by EPOS. And the catalog of services collects the services, homogenizes the access, and returns the services through APIs for the programmatic use, and with a graphical user interface that is what I'm going to show you in a moment. The graphical interface offers search filters, we'll see them, and the API, vice versa, are consumed by the analytical framework to do data analysis, like as Ulrich mentioned before, using Jupyter notebooks or whatever. So these are the essential elements to have in mind, and now I can move to the catalog. I hope you are seeing the right screen at the moment, and this is the catalog of services. It's a map-based interface with several search elements on the left and other tools on the right, and I can go through all of these very quickly, but just to show you all of them. So why I told you before that we are working with standard metadata, because this free text search here goes directly into the metadata database. So here you can search for any entry in the metadata, and the system will return you services that corresponds to the metadata you wrote here. Then we can have a special filter, drawing, for example, a rectangle on the map. We have a temporal. We have some specific filters if you are interested in data coming from specific data and service providers. If you are interested in specific essential variables, so you can select in this interface. We offer map, graph, and table visualization, and you can search for specific services in this box. So let's move to the content. What we have now, we have more than 100 references here, 34 services, some notebook, some external repositories, and more services will come because we have plenty of under review services here. So here you have the list. You can scroll in the list or filter, but the very easiest way to explore data is to start with one of our use cases for essential variables. So let's select, for example, I don't know, surface and subsurface ocean salinity. We can activate the scientific example, and the system will reload the catalog, asking you if you want to replace what you might had in your interface with the scientific example. And now the magic is happening. So from our system, the catalog of services is communicating behind the scene with the service or services included in the example. In this case, is a service from Argo, and is retrieving a subset of the data. And now you see some dots on the map. We can explore what is in there. I'm an IT person. I'm not a scientist, so don't ask me for the meaning of the numbers we see here. But we can explore the number either on the map or within the table. We can enlarge the table if you want to see more numbers. And every time we are asking to the service, so it might take some time. So you have the data on the table. The important thing to remember is that we, as I said, we are talking to the service. In this case, is the service from Argo. And we are by default providing some values when we query the service. And you can enlarge the card and see the default values. So for example, this service has coordinates, temporal, and the important element is this pressure that, if I remember correctly, is directly correlated to the depth of the ocean, where you measure the salinity and yes, salinity in this case. So at the moment we are getting result from 0 to 10. If you want to search for different values, you can tune your search, and all the services in the catalog have these details. So and it depends on how the different arrays provide their services. It's up to them to define which are the parameters that are tunable, that can be tuned by the user, and which are not available. In any case, if you are interested in more details about one service, you can click on the eye, and you have a full description of the service with the spatial coverage and a whole list of metadata, including the service documentation, so you can go further in your investigation. If you want to do data analysis, as we said before, we are also offering notebooks. So let me clear all the filters so we can see all the notebooks. And at the moment we have preloaded 10 notebooks, but we are going to provide more in the future. And from here, at the moment, you can have a link to the notebook. You can download them. We are working to offer in the future a direct spawn of a VRE, including the notebook and data coming from the catalog. But this is still a work in progress, so you will have to need to wait for the next webinar to learn about that. So let me stop here and pass the floor to the knowledge base, and I will remain for all your questions, either in the Q&A panel or in the interactive session at the end.
All right. Hi, everyone. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to go over the knowledge base. Okay, can everyone see my screen? I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, perfect. Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the knowledge base and the ENVRI-Hub webinar today. My name is Nafis Tanveer. I am a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Amsterdam. Together with my supervisor, Dr. Zhiming Zhao, we're going to present the knowledge base. Today we'll be walking you through the ENVRI-Hub knowledge base. In this short talk, I will give some brief overview of the history of the knowledge base, what it is, what it can do, its features, and finally show some of its key features in the demonstration part. So let's dive into it. So before we look into what knowledge base does, let's take a look into its brief history. This will help us to understand where it came from and how it has evolved into its current state. The system has evolved through successive European research infrastructure projects spanning more than a decade. It originally started with the ENVRI Plus, which ran from 2015 to 2019. It's a Horizon 2020 project, bringing together environmental and art science research infrastructures projects and networks together with the technical specialist partners to create a new coherent interdisciplinary research infrastructure. And then came ENVRI FAIR. It came from 2019 to 2023. The goal of ENVRI FAIR is to advance the findability, accessibility, interoperability, reusability, in summary, fairness of the data services offered by ENVRI cluster research infrastructures and to connect them to the emerging European Open Science Cloud. And finally, ENVRI-Hub NEXT is the current project running from 2024 to 2027. The ambition expands again, introducing genuine dialogue between the users and the system for knowledge gather and content search, including web metadata, and then notebooks and APIs and more. Each generation was built on top of the last one, and today's knowledge base is the most capable version of it yet. Now let's talk a little bit about what the knowledge base actually is. So you can see that the knowledge base has initially it's divided into two components. The first is our classical search engine. It is designed to help you retrieve datasets, APIs, and research outputs using our advanced search and recommendation techniques. It also all through a familiar web interface that you can see and we'll see in demo as well. It also has support for graphical way of tracking the contents of the origin of the responses that you can see here. Secondly, the environmental expert that you can see on the right hand side of the bottom hand of the right hand side. This is something quite new and more intuitive. It provides a dialogue-based service or interface that lets you interact dynamically with the system's core intelligence, rather than just typing a single keyword or if some text. You can actually ask questions to the system in natural language, and you can get the response in the natural language as well. You can get the response in the form of text, but you can get data sets, you can get any kind of knowledge, you can get code, you can learn how to use libraries and almost everything that you need to complete a research. So to summarize, what makes the version of knowledge base different is the part of the ENVRI-Hub project represents a significant step from the ENVRI Fair. We have moved away from the microservice-based architecture from the monolithic architecture to a microservice-based architecture, which means faster response time, more scalability, and more maintainability. And critically, we have integrated the generative AI directly into the core search functionality, not just as an add-on, but as an integral part of our system. So now with that, let me introduce the knowledge base in demo. So let me share my screen again one more time. Okay, I think you can see the knowledge base now. This is the main home interface of the knowledge base, and you can search a lot of things. So let's search with an ECV or essential climate variable surface ocean temperature. I already did some search here. So let's see the search. So now after searching, you can see that we see a lot of contents here. So let me analyze and explain all the contents or the components of the search results that you can see here. So initially the search is divided into 4 parts. One is the web pages, datasets, web APIs, and notebooks, and some of the images as well. And also if you want to visualize, we can do that as well. So let's go one by one. So in the web page, we get the web contents from the different RIs, what they put as their content. And then we also have a summarized version of all the results that we can see here. That means this summary is done by GPT-5. And then if we move to datasets, it gives us a bunch of datasets which we can actually go to these links. For example, this is a CDataNet example, and it takes us to the CDataNet website and where you can get the actual data from. Then we have the web APIs or the notebooks as well, where you can get some codes which are already indexed to our system as a knowledge. And finally, in order to visualize the result or the search components, we can also come here. It can visualize all the components. Just wait for a couple of seconds. So you can see a graph-based result. You can zoom in and zoom out. You can see that this is our original search, and it goes to multiple web pages, or it can interact with what you can basically track all the results. So from which research infrastructure you are getting the responses from, you are getting the search results or the data sets from, you can all track all of those results here. And also you can have a summarized version of the search statistics. So how much of the results are coming from the datasets or notebooks or web pages or web APIs. So let's go back to the web page again, and let's show you some more features as well. So we have a small search engine or a small chatbot here, which can do small searches. So let's, for example, we want to ask the system what an ECV is, or essential climate variable. So you can see that the system has answered correctly. Then essential climate variable is a physical or chemical or biological variable, and so on. And it has a lot of answers. So now I think part of the classical search engine of our demo is initially done. So now from here we can move to our AI environmental expert. So let's go there. So this is the initial interface of the environmental expert. This it looks a bit bland, but we're going to improve it a little bit more. So now we can ask all kind of questions here, including it's more of a dialogue-based engine, so you can ask any kind of question. So I'm gonna walk you through some questions that I have prepared, or I can show you. So let's say I want to compute surface ocean temperature. So I like to ask the system, how do I now the system is trying to get some response. So it tells me how do I compute the surface ocean temperature. It knows that it's an ECV, so it also takes me to the actual website as well, where you can see the surface ocean temperature or sea surface temperature, and some of the some more information where I can find it. The next question, the next logical question could be find me some links of the datasets to compute this surface ocean temperature. Let's wait for the results a little bit. And you can see that it is giving us a set of relevant data sets that we can go to and find whatever we need. Then the next logical question could be from an environmental researcher. Maybe they are not expert in computer science, or they're not expert in programming. So that means they need to use different libraries to compute those variables. So now what they might need to do is we have from ENVRI-Hub, we have this ENVRI-Hub library. So they may ask, how do I use this ENVRI-Hub library? So now we get some answer to the question. So initially installing the library and how to use some of the parts of the libraries as well. And also you can see that our system has provided some GitHub links as so the PyPy links as well, where we can actually see where to find the ENVRI-Hub library and how to install and how to do some visualizations using that library. So now then the next question could be, how do I calculate a ECV using this library? And then it will give us some code samples to compute, or to how to compute the libraries. And you can see that it has put also some example notebooks that we have already provided how to compute these libraries. So you can see the uses of Python libraries and to compute different ECVs from here. So it gives us not only examples, but it can provide us to the specific links where you can go and see more detailed examples. So then maybe let's say everything is done and you maybe want to visualize something, the results. So right Surface ocean temperature of, let's say, the Atlantic Ocean. Maybe using some library called Cartopy. So you can see it also can answer these kind of questions. So in starting from a basic research question, explaining what that research question is, then to the workflow, to the demo, everything our system can do. So it can also help us install all of those libraries like Cartopy and to visualize the results from our system. So I just showed in this demo, my goal is to show a basic workflow of our system. But what I want to mention is that you can prompt the system more intuitively to get better results. The more question you answer, the system will give you better and more curated responses that you would want to get from a system. So with that, I would like to finish here. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Nafis, and thank you, everyone, for your presentations. So this has been very dense, and lots of things have been mentioned. So I will invite all of the speakers to turn on their cameras now. So now we are opening the Q&A session. So of course, if you do have any questions, remember you can post them in the Q&A box. There was one for Uli. So we have seen what's possible. We have seen what's been done. Of course, most of these things have been tested and implemented by RIs involved in ENVRI-Hub NEXT. So the question is it possible for RIs that are not part of the project to become part of the ENVRI-Hub, and how? So if it is, please.
Oh, good question. As you might see, we have the ENVRI logo in total in our in the head, and from this perspective, we want to have all of them in our system. We are not only we are named or called by the as the competence center for the ENVRI community, which means, okay, we are open and we will be open. Currently, we are in the phase of our project. So we are learning how to do things. We are teaching research infrastructures which are directly linked to us, how to do it. But by the system Nafis has shown us today, you can see that the adaptation and to be incorporated is quite easy. So it is, if you have as a research infrastructure, you want to expose your data, you can integrate in different levels. And the first step, which is quite easy, is to give us your web page, your landing page, your data portal. And Nafis can then incorporate this for the scanning of the knowledge base. So this is regularly done. So all the different web pages from the research infrastructures are repeatedly scheduled, scanned and indexed for the content, which is afterwards also then used by the AI expert and is stored there for all the people. And this is quite an easy step, which is not there. You have to fulfill not many recommendations we'll have. If we want to get a deeper connection to us, so to be part, for example, as in the catalog of service, then it's becoming a bit more difficult, because then we have to have your information as part of the metadata catalog, which means that you have to provide us the metadata set of your research infrastructure or your project or whatever you are. And for this, you have to know what this means. It means that you have to go in the verification process of your data a step more. You have to be more advanced. You can find this kind of information also here. We have training material from the former project. It's called ENVRI Fair, where we have lots of information how to verificate your metadata, so that it's about findability, interoperability, reusability, accessibility. And so for this, you have to go a step forward. Especially then, if you want to get your data directly exposed, you have to be part of the AII Federation, so the single sign-on federation. And if you have done all these steps, then we will be open to the European Open Science Cloud, which will come. And this is also a nice announcement we can do here. ENVRI-Hub Next is selected to become the next EOSC node. So we are going into this direction, and we are invited to expose our data in the EOSC, in the European Open Science Cloud framework. And we have in the footer, I don't know if we can show it here. If you go down in the footer area of the landing page, there's an onboarding part. Currently, it's stated in general how this will work. We have to guide you to, or we have to define the recommendations we need to have, because currently we know already what we want to have, but we have to formulate it in a way that we can expose it to you, and then you'll be guided to us. But if you go to this onboarding, there's already a form you can fill out and or download and fill it out and send it to us, so that we are aware that you are a candidate or interested, and you will get directly information if they are present and done by the onboarding group we are just working on. So please go to the footer part, click on onboarding, then you get the information, the form, then you can apply for being part of the club, and you'll get the information as soon as it's ready for implementation. But you have to be a bit patient, because we are just starting, as you see here in the launch of our system, and we want to get first all the research infrastructures in which are not currently in. And so we are quite busy in that point, but you're highly welcome to register, to make us aware of your project, of your research infrastructures, and then we'll keep in contact.
Thank you very much, Uli. So there is a second question. So this one is for Zhiming or Nafis. So see which one of you wants to answer. So it's the question about the AI expert from Joseph. So how does it compare to larger AI tools such as ChatGPT in this case? In which cases does it have a better performance, and in which case it's a worse performance, do you think? So who wants to pick this up?
Nafis, you want to try? Or maybe let me first find it. So it's a good question. The environmental expert, indeed, it's based on the, currently it's based on the open source large language model. Llama was the one we used to do the prototype and also for the testing. Later, we compared that with different GPT versions. And we observed that the GPT, latest GPT always can compete the results we provide. But we also observed for lots of ENVRI specific context, especially with the documents we can collect from our community, if we provide that to the LM models, we are able to provide specific answers, and which the the public or commercial GPT service or LM service they cannot provide. We would foresee in future, and there will be better large language model available from the market. I think we will have to keep our model, learn from those models, make these missing knowledges complement to our models. Yeah, so this will be a kind of process. I think we will have to keep doing that. For the moment, to answer your question, I think that the ENVRI specific community context is the way we compete, or we think we can compare to the model from outside. Nafis, if you want to add anything here, you could please feel free to do so.
Yes, I think you covered most of it. And to answer that question, yes, our system is more like master of, I would say ChatGPT or those systems are jack of all trades, but we are master of ENVRI, I would say. So it knows all about the contents of ENVRI. So if you ask any specific questions regarding ENVRI coding, any kind of ECV, any kind of data sets or notebooks, you will get very specific and more directed answers rather than if you use ChatGPT. Yes.
Thank you. Thank
Maybe
you very much for your answers. Yeah, Uli, go ahead.
Maybe I can add. So I'm not the AI expert here, but I'm using it. And so what the issue is with LLMs is that they have to be trained. And after the training, they don't get any new information. What we'll have here in place, I think, Zhiming, it's called MCP. So it's, if you write at the prompt, alongside all the information from the knowledge base could be parsed. So all the information which is currently and not included into ChatGPT because it's trained half a year ago, the new information is passed alongside, including all the information from the knowledge base. And this is a powerful tool which makes us superior to all ChatGPT because they are limited to the point where they are trained.
Okay, thanks. And connected to this, there's another question, which is again about the AI agent. So basically, they're saying, okay, so more and more agents are doing basically the work of the portals recently. So will the ENVRI Hub interfaces and services and metadata catalogs allow the AI tools to help them find what they need? So again, I guess Jimmy.
Yes, I think that is on our agenda. And in fact, these different chat agents will be equipped with these and the services from the ENVRI Hub, including catalog services and also virtual research environment. And in the second half of the project, in fact, we are going to work on that. For the moment, yeah, still in work in progress.
Maybe also an add-on from my side. If you are fair, this really means that you are mesh-to-mesh interoperable. And fair, it's findable accessibly. But the new version I've learned is that it's findable and AI ready. So using the same acronym with a different meaning. But in principle, I think if people are, and the research infrastructures are operating in a fair way, dealing their data, providing good metadata sets, then the LLMs are able to find the information. And this is a prerequisite. We can help and assist users using the MCP way, accompanying the prompt from the environmental expert. This is the most straightforward with the recent data available. But the general point is that you have to be fair data. And this is the underlying necessity pre-requirement we are setting for our research infrastructures. They have to be fair. And then everything else comes alongside. Marta?
I would like to add, just to converge the 2 points of views that have been brought by Uli and Zhiming and Nafis, yeah. So on the one hand, you have the pipelines and the infrastructure, the AI systems that have to be put in place. And on the other half, you have the data, right? Without the proper access to the data and the verification and the readiness of the data in order to build these AI constructs and these agentic systems, yeah. When we started with the description of action in this project, the AI world LLMs, they have not shut off yet. And so we have to leave this transition. We're in a world when we expose the hub to the users, you still have different types of users. Yeah, you may still have the classic users that will want to go with a la Google or try to navigate through the catalogs, and you have the users that are switching more and more to just go to the LLM and tell me how to do this, how to find this, how to code a data access method. Yeah, they don't want to interact with the system in the classic way. So we are in this hybrid world. In the next projects, they have to assess what is the user interactions, how to evolve all these user interfaces, and how to bring all these pipelines, yeah, and all these AI agents that will maximize and make it more agile, yeah, from the point of view, bring it to the needs of how the users are interacting these days. It's an evolving landscape right now. Without the data, you will not have the intelligent AI pipelines.
Thank you very much, Marta and everyone. So we're actually at 12 sharp. So I'll take this opportunity to thank everybody for joining. Again, thanks to all the panelists, thanks to all the attendees, and we will see you at TGU. So see you in about 10 days. See you in Vienna. Make sure you join our short course on Thursday morning and our ECB related session in the afternoon. So I'll invite you also to sign up to our newsletter and everything. And see you soon and speak soon.
Thanks.
Great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.